Hello, everybody. I apologize for the tardiness of this episode of Weebo Ruins Everything, and Polydub joins. It was not originally my intention to skip the Saturday show. But you see, Saturday just happened to fall on the 4th of July, and I was in certainly no position to be on here doing this with y'all in any capacity. Much less, you know what? Actually, these are too bulky for this show, so give me one sec. I was in no position to be hosting a show, especially with the connection that it was when we were up north at the cabin in the woods. The cabin in the woods does not have notoriously good connection, and especially probably not during the 4th of July. At least that was my anticipation. So I think it's best that we skipped the show and waited until I was back home and sober and ready for this lovely jazz. I do apologize that we're cutting into Lords of the Nighttime, but oh well, what are you gonna do? You only get Weebo and Polly once a week. And if both of us attempt to show up, then it's... I totally gave him the link, didn't I? I hope I did. Let me double check. Yep. I sent it to him. He'll hopefully be here in the next 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, we can all have a nice, lovely chat. How was everyone's 4th? How was everyone's freedom holiday? Were we having a fun time? I had a fun time. I went to the beach and had that good time. Plenty of alcohol. Went shooting, but not before I had, or not after I had the alcohol. There we go. I most definitely shot before it was that I was intoxicated, and then I got intoxicated when I got back. So we're good. Got myself nice and tan. Took El Boyfriendo on several jet ski rides, and then he also took me on several jet ski rides, so that was a nice trade-off, because he just got his boating license, so he's figuring out how to deal with the waters and the waves. He's doing a good job, but there is room for improvement, I will say. Was it just me in my area, or was it abysmally hot all weekend? Anyone else? Here's another thing that I'm super bummed about, though, is the fireworks show that we do annually. It didn't happen. Or not we do annually, but the township that we're a part of does annually. Did not happen. And the reason why was because of COVID, obviously. They can't host the big shindig throughout the rest of the day, all of the July 4th celebrations and whatnot, in order to raise money for the next year's fireworks show. Because that's what the festival is supposed to do, is raise money for the fireworks for the next year. But they couldn't do that, so they canceled this year, and we're going to have to wait until next year for the exquisite fireworks display, which is just the way that the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. In other news, you guys are going to have to keep me updated on what exactly happened, because I only know an abysmal amount of... Oh, shit. I can't sign into Streamlabs. They've hit API limits. I will be able to log in after 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry for the inconvenience. That's stupid. That's really stupid. Wow, that's just rough. What am I going to do? I'm tired. Can you guys tell? Not like in a low energy type of way, because I could definitely like go off, but tired is in like tired in an emotional way, I guess, because while I wasn't paying super attention to everything political and whatnot over the weekend, I couldn't help but notice that there were some things that happened, that transpired, that make me sad on the inside. And it is unfortunate that they did happen. And
it is unfortunate that did happen.
I can hear myself.
That did happen.
When you turn yourself on and... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. Wow. Such professional. Very much. Popping out the chat. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, it was unfortunate that it did happen like it did because, well, you'd expect for relations between groups of people to improve, or you'd at least hope for, right? But they don't seem to be going that way. And I don't think it's because, actually, no, I do think it's because that people aren't really trying that hard. I don't think people necessarily want to at this point. I feel like people are in too volatile a state emotionally to actually attempt to come together as a group of people. And I think we've done that to ourselves, whether it be through consuming mainstream media content, whether it be through endorsing mainstream media purveyors who may not be the best for us, morally, emotionally, informationally, whatnot. Thank you, Vladimir Dragunov, for the donation. Would you rather look like Jar Jar Binks or talk like Jar Jar Binks? You are not allowed to kill yourself. Talk like Jar Jar Binks, because I think I can make that work for me, honestly. I think it would be adorable after a certain point, especially since I look cute. Yeah, okay. Sorry, the show started off a little rough, but I am a little rough right now. It's been a long weekend. I think for whatever reason, people have needed some form of catharsis, or they think that they need some form of catharsis, and so they self-medicate with that catharsis in the way that they communicate with people that they think deserves their ire. Now, what do I mean by this, right? Your average political pundits, people who you look to for the news, for an opinion on something that relates to the current world order of the day, they... well, more often than not, you'll hear them say something along the lines of X side of the post, the goalpost, whatever, the liberal side of things wants you to believe X, Y, and Z. This is their motivation. This is what they want to do, yada, yada, yada. And while that might be true on some level, you have to understand that that is a narrative being purported by a very small minority of people. Small minority. Isn't that a double entendre? A small portion, a small group of people, but they're very vocal and they have all of the power. Same thing with the right in the way that they want to construct a narrative. The problem is we take that as gospel for either side if they're the opposite side. And that becomes the stereotype. That is the thing that you think of when you think of X, Y, or Z side. And that's a problem because no one fits into that box perfectly. Certainly there are people that sympathize with either side's way of doing things on some level. Maybe not everything, but like I said, they don't fit into that box personally or perfectly. And that can be a little bit offensive to people on either side if they're being put in a box that they don't necessarily fit and then expected to adhere to the working order of the day. Hi, Polly. I'm trying to explain political relationships between opposing sides and why they're dysfunctional. And I think I'm doing somewhat of an okay job of it.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Go on. Don't let me interrupt.
Okay. So the way that I see it is if you're assigning a role to somebody that they don't quite fit into, they're going to react viscerally in turn because you are telling them what they believe rather than asking them. You're assuming things about them rather than venturing to find out what it is that they actually believe in. And simply based on, the fact that they're conservative, or the fact that they identify as a liberal, or the fact that they voted for Trump, or the fact that they want to vote for Biden. Like, there are certain things that you can take to mean something about a person based off of who they're voting for, what side they are assigned to, but that's very limited. And you can never you should never presume to know exactly who someone is based off of just one classification. You should want to, at the very least, get to know them. But of course, you can't do that for every single person in that political group. So you generalize, obviously, because it's the simpler thing. But people don't react kindly to that when you're having a discussion with them, to you assuming that, which is why the sides kind of butt up against each other, because these broad generalizations are being made by the more vocal minorities of people in an effort to purport their own narrative against the other side. And it just creates a vicious feedback loop of punching your opponent in the face, I guess. Does that make sense? You can say no.
Or are you asking me?
Yeah, does that make sense?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were. I thought somebody specifically in chat had asked you, so you were asking them. Does that make sense? What I just said? Yeah.
No, I was just talking about how I feel tired, but like in an emotional way, and it had to do with things that culminated to this weekend politically. Thank you, Lanny Stanfield, for the donation over on the Super Chats. Too many people take that as gospel, then decide they're going to educate others. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Lanny. That is on point, actually. Also, did you see that Streamlabs isn't working, Polly?
No, I didn't.
It's not working. At least it's not working for me. We hit our YouTube API limits. You'll be able to log in after 11:59 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry for the inconvenience. Rough.
I've had that happen before. I've gotten that pop up.
Yeah, rough. But see, this is why I don't openly adhere to the I am on this side or I am on this side. Not argument. I just don't identify on a side. That maybe makes me a dirty centrist or whatever. But I refuse to make it easy for them to stereotype me. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. I want them to work for what they think they already know about X side or Y side. Because then I feel like it's a lot harder to attack me, since I'm an individual as opposed to just a collective representative of this body of people. And I feel like that is more helpful in bridging a divide than just trading insults back and forth between the two sides. Like, you're gonna vote for Orange Man, or you're gonna vote for Dementia Man. And I'm just like, what does that help? What does that do, honestly? Yeah, Eve, Weebo, you are a dirty centrist. It's why we get along. Yeah. And people will yell at you for it because you refuse to take sides. Because then they presume that you're on the other side, while the other side presumes that you're on that side. And then you are the enemy of everybody. It's not an easy life. Ugh. Hi, Polly. How are you?
Doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm just bringing up chat and reading through. Oh, there's Eve saying hello. Let's first of all, hello, Eve.
I'm sorry we had to reschedule, but I realized that Saturday fell on the 4th, and I was in no position at that point to be like, yeah, let's do a stream. Because it was the 4th. You know how it be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a fun weekend, Polly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, actually.
That's good. Did you celebrate the founding of our nation?
I had a party where we all lit candles and did a death watch to lament the oppression and history of racism and white supremacy that is the United States. It was very somber.
Yeah.
Very, very cathartic.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cathartic and somber.
Yes.
And then did you drink your sorrows away afterwards?
Well, we spent the evening, us straight white males, bringing drinks and food to all of the disabled LGBT POCs in the room as an act of contrition for our white privilege.
How many were there in the room?
Well, there was just the one.
Just the one disabled.
But it was a gay
LGBT.
disabled lesbian, so she kind of checked all the boxes.
A gay disabled lesbian?
That's right.
How can you be both gay and lesbian?
She's non-binary, but identifies as a lesbian.
And uses she, her pronouns?
No, them. They, them.
Oh, but you said she.
Well, she identified. Well, that's because I'm a straight white male and don't understand how to speak without privilege. You know, constantly assigning genders and such. You know how it is.
I feel. Mm-hmm. I did my part in oppressing the minorities by celebrating the 4th of July with all of the vigor and gusto of our founding fathers, and they would have been proud of me. Dude, I drank so much beer this weekend.
I drank so much beer.
We grilled. There were bang bangs, not just in fireworks, but we also went shooting.
How'd that go?
It went well. I had to clean my gun though. I need to clean my gun. Yeah. Holly, you're gonna be
yes. Weebo.
So interested in what I learned about myself as a shooter. So, the last time we went shooting, I learned that I'm an abysmal shot with my concealed carry weapon, and that's I didn't know why specifically that would be the case, because I've always been a relatively decent shot, at least with like my bow or a long-ranged rifle, right? So when it came to shooting with a pistol, I was like, why can't I hit the fucking target? And so I was starting to panic. I was like, I need to go see a vision doctor. I'm gonna have to go get glasses. It's gonna be weird. People are gonna make fun of me, and they're gonna call me Four Eyes on the internet. And I don't want to lose my status of 20/20 vision in the family. Anyway, so I'm having like this freak out attack this weekend because I can't figure out why I'm having such an issue. And I'm like, am I aiming wrong? Am I supposed to be closing my left eye instead of my right eye? Am I supposed to be keeping them both open? Should I be holding it like this? So I couldn't figure it out. And then a boyfriendo comes up to me. He's like, try my Beretta. It's a bigger gun. So I tried it out, and I was a little bit better. And he goes, before I was a little bit better, he goes, so take a breath between each shot. Don't exhale on the shot. Just hold it when you're ready, but hold it tightly. Grip it tightly. And so that's what I did with Beretta. And I actually started making the target. So I'm like, okay, so it's not my eyeballs that are the problem. All right, so what's the wrong? So it's whenever I shoot my gun, I tense up right before I pull the trigger. And that causes me to jerk left with the muzzle, meaning that I'm not hitting the target. I'm hitting left of the target. Good grouping though, but left of the target. So, he goes, all right, so now start holding it more tensely before you actually pull the trigger so that you're overcorrecting before it is that you actually shoot. See if that works. And so we tried that, and it worked better than what I had been doing previously. But really, I think I just need to get used to my gun is the main thing. I think maybe there's some underlying fear there, like, it's a gun. This could kill people. So yeah, I am working my way towards being a better shot, and I need to shoot more in order to be a better shot.
How many rounds have you put down range in total?
Probably over 300.
Ooh. What I'm saying is, you can go a little bit easier on yourself. I'm working my way towards being a better shot. I've put 300 rounds down range. It's
not a horrible
10,000
shot.
hours to master something, right?
I'm hitting.
You ever heard that old rule?
Yeah, 10,000 hours.
So keep on the path.
I'm hitting within like a foot's worth of like distance, so it's not like I'm an abysmal shot. Like I'm not even hitting anywhere close to.
Don't throw yourself out of the chair and knock cameras over you. How far are you from the target?
I was like, I didn't actually measure it. Maybe like 7 yards away.
7 yards.
Yeah.
It's good distance.
Yeah.
7 yards within a 12-inch circle. That's better than I did. First time out shooting.
Like, I'm not a bad shot. I'm just not used to the gun, I think.
Yeah. That idea of good shots and bad shots are fucking myths. How do you get to Carnegie Hall, Weebo?
It wasn't Carnegie Hall. It was Orchestra Hall.
What?
Oh, I thought you were talking about me and when it was that I used to play an orchestra. Okay, sorry.
You're being a literalist.
You practice, Polly. That's how you get
right.
to Carnegie Hall. Coincidentally, that's how I got to Orchestra Hall, actually.
Weebo's like the kind of person. It's like, what's the most important thing in buying real estate? Well, there's several factors that get involved.
Wait, no, hang on. I can make this.
It says location is the answer, for God's sake.
Well, there are several factors involved that you have to take into consideration. Do you want to see my I have a spreadsheet for when it is that I start to look for a house, and it's exactly how you would expect it to be, Polly. All right? I'm gonna pull this bitch up.
I and others were making fun of you the other night on Discord. It was fun.
Of course.
Well, no, I was just like, I brought up a picture
Yeah.
of I forget what it was. It was like a cursed image or an ugly house or something like that. And somebody goes, why would somebody paint it this way? What do you think they were trying to do? I'm like, what are you, Weebo Jones deconstructing the joke? Like, it's meant for the ha-has, for God's sake.
Okay, but you jest. But in all actuality, I came up with this for when it is that I start to look for a house, and it's got all of like the different factors on it. Why the fuck? Why is this not? Okay, yeah. See, it's got crime stats, school pricing, number of bedrooms, internet quality, electrical quality, plumbing quality, termites.
Seconds before you brought up that spreadsheet, Eve said, to be fair, you have a spreadsheet for almost everything. Seconds before you brought up that spreadsheet.
It keeps going. Holly, I went through the whole alphabet and into more alphabet.
Double A, triple A, quadruple A.
I went into 2 whole alphabets worth of data for just picking out a house. Look at this. Outside, odors, flooring. All right, we got appliances here. We got insulation. There are like 3 things regarding the refrigerator alone. All right, don't even get me started. Number of bathrooms. Yeah.
You want to hear about my outside odors problem? Did Weebo freeze her? She's waiting for me to talk. What's going on? I think Weebo froze. God damn it. And I don't even know if Jack can hear me. Well. Okay, so I'll tell you, chat, in case you can't hear me about my outside odors problem. There's
water taste.
Oh, she I heard water taste. And Eve's saying she froze. Okay, I'll tell you guys my outside odors problem. There's a skunk in the neighborhood, all right? And I've been told repeatedly and looked up online repeatedly and found out that skunks supposedly do not smell. And I don't think they do unless they spray. But I'm convinced that they're like dogs, that they mark their territory. And when marking their territory, they smell somewhat. Okay, what are the odds that every summer, every spring, around this time, I start smelling a skunk in the air late at night? That somebody in my neighborhood, one of my neighbors, is constantly smoking a particular strain of skunk weed around the same. Happened. You froze.
Okay, but like I was in the stream for like a solid 20 seconds and you weren't here, and I was like, "Where's Polly?"
No, I was just, I don't know. Maybe, I was telling my skunk story, and I'm not even sure if chat could hear me.
I think they could, because I could hear you in the thing, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I'm not seeing the same thing that you're seeing at all.
What am I seeing?
Oh, no. The audience on Cocktail Hour. Like, my dashboard for StreamYards was different from what was
Gotcha.
being displayed to YouTube. Okay, we fixed it.
We could hear you, Polly. Okay. So this skunk, it raises problems because I'm getting pretty fucking sick of it. Like, it's a skunk, man. Jesus Christ, it stinks. And I mean, it's not as bad as if you got straight up spursed, which I've never been around, but as I understand is like intolerable to the point where you're willing to take a tomato juice bath to get rid of it. You know, like that bad. So I think this skunk, when marking its territory, is, and I go for walks late at night because I'm a night owl and enjoy such things. And I see skunks like fucking around in garbages and stuff like that. So they're around. There's no question about that. I'm not making that part up. So I think there's a skunk that comes by my place, and I usually have my windows open at night because I enjoy fresh air. And the air doesn't stay that fresh. I'm just saying.
Oof.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear this.
Ooh, new member.
Hi, Janix Ericus. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate your membership. And I appreciate all of my viewers as well. Just so y'all don't feel super left out. But you will get early access.
So Wick David is saying they'll remark the areas, you know, that are their areas. Yeah. You're reading around online and you talk to people that are so-called wilderness experts. So, I've been out in the woods for years, and let me tell you something. There's skunks unless they spray, don't stink. You don't know nothing. And it's like, I don't know, man. You come over to my joint and you smell that shit and tell me that skunk's coming by and spraying nightly? Come on. Obviously, its urine smells to some degree.
I wouldn't know. I've never been on the business end of a skunk.
But it raised a thought. See, you can't just blow it into pieces with a shotgun because, I mean, like, holy fuck. I mean, you want to talk about, you know, you didn't like the smell when it was just spurting, you know, to mark its territory. Yeah, imagine when you explode it. You know, and to trap it, it's like, okay, so you buy one of them animal traps. You can get like hardware stores for like raccoons and the like, because it's around the same size as a raccoon generally, or a badger, or whatever the fuck. So you want to trap like a little fur-bearing woodland animal. Okay, I'd be fine with trapping a badger or a raccoon, but Jesus Christ, you trap a skunk, what are you going to do? You're going to walk up on the trap? It's going to be freaked out and frightened, rightfully so. A massive ass mammal's approaching it while it's in a little cage. It's going to freak out and spray you. So what do you do? Put on a hazmat suit?
Well, you could do that. But you should know that skunks don't have like an endless supply of their smelly gland secretions. So it's like one and done per day, I think. Actually, that would be a good thing to look up. How often can skunks spray? And you could presume that the moment that it got stuck, it would deplete itself. I would assume. All right. Skunks are known for their discharge. I don't like that word. An obnoxious odor when provoked. This is released primarily in self-defense. A skunk can release a spray of oily liquid as far as 10 to 15 feet and spray up to 6 times in succession. It's painful if it gets in your eye, apparently. Trapping skunks. There is obviously a special problem when trapping skunks due to their odor defense. Live traps such as Safeguards 24/7x8 trap with a cover skunk trap may be used to trap and remove skunks. So they actually make specifically designed skunk traps.
Huh.
Yeah. For specifically your problem. Now you know.
What I like the idea of is people underrate the value of them hot pepper whatchamacallits feeding. Okay, so like little pellets of bird seed and squirrel seed and stuff. And if you want to get rid of animals that are around, they're little bits of capsaicin hot pepper, like 10% burn your mouth hot pepper. But then it's surrounded by wax to seal it off, and then covered in the smell of like peanuts and walnuts and things of the like that birds and squirrels are going to like. So they run over and they go, ooh, a seed, and start munching into it. And then, oh my God, it's hot, and go running away. And and then they come back and they learn supposedly rather quickly that, yeah, don't eat the seeds around there because they burn and then they don't come back. And I watched a
Toss
couple
jalapeno seeds out.
more or less. They're more like habanero seeds. Like they're on like the next level. It's like synthetic power. I like this idea. Just piss them off and go somewhere else. And I'm wondering if I can piss the skunk off. Yeah, I have a few different pepper sprays. Maybe I should harness capture some of the pepper spray inside of a Ziploc bag as you can. And like, get a syringe and inject it into like a banana or something and be like, here, skunk, have a banana.
Or you could just toss some seeds up outside and get rid of your pest control entirely. Or
well, that'll attract them. Or do you mean the capsaicin hot pepper seeds?
The hot pepper seeds.
I guess, but then I got to go to a hardware store and buy them.
Or you could just wait until you make spicy hot food with peppers in them next time and save the seeds.
Oh, but the whole reason you cover them in wax is because, animals aren't stupid. Well, animals have highly evolved instinct. They tend to not eat things that smell off. And notice that most animals leave habanero peppers alone on the plant. Because they can smell, ooh, that's not going to be good for me. It's like a rhubarb plant. You can have it on a farm and the animals won't touch it. They just leave it alone because it'll fucking kill them.
Oh, so you know what's funny is I keep seeing myself reload through
Weebo's gone.
StreamYards.
Okay, I just heard you come back. You were gone for a minute there, Weebo. Yeah.
Hulk smash.
Oh yeah, I, by the way, tried signing into Streamlabs Labs, and yeah, I got the API overstack blah 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 thing.
I don't even know what that means.
I looked it up.
Should?
It's just it's the interaction amounts, and they set quotas. I just looked it up right now because I'd read it before and I had looked it up and then totally forgot what it meant. The amount of times that outside resources can interact with YouTube in that way, because you don't log in through YouTube with Streamlabs, or you do log in with your YouTube account through Streamlabs, and Streamlabs has a quota for that, how many times it can happen in a day. In their words, to stop malicious use of their services and to lower the overall quality of the YouTube product for its native users. Meaning, so outside companies aren't using up YouTube's resources. You know what I think is going to happen? Here's my guess. I'm putting it on the calendar now that I'm the one who said this. YouTube's going to do that more and more because they want channel memberships and they want Streamlabs or super chats because they want their cut, yo. They don't like, because Streamlabs is cutting out the middleman, and fuck you, YouTube. It's a brilliant business idea, Streamlabs. It's like, we'll take a far lower amount of money, and through advertising and different services that we can offer, there's people that stream all over the internet, and it can be through Twitch or YouTube or whatever. This is great. I'm like, it is a great business plan. But if YouTube or Twitch or whoever deny you the ability to log in with your YouTube account, then what? I think that they're going to lower and lower the API quotas to the point where Streamlabs becomes less effective. I mean, you see YouTube moving in a direction that's less convenient to the individual user, be it me, you, whoever, like someone as big as Sinatra, someone even bigger, you know what I mean? They're catered towards the ultra creators, like your PewDiePies that they have actual contracts with. And then legacy media, your CNNs, your ABCs, your National Geographics, and then everything else is music, Vivo. And that's, what's her name saying that too? Susan Wojcicki. Only half of all YouTube content views are personal individual uploaded content now. Half.
Fuck. We are dinosaurs on the internet, Polly.
Yes. Well, we had a fun run.
Yeah. It's been real, guys. Bye. Yeah. No, I'm going to stick it out to the bitter end, I think. You will have me.
I want competing services to get off the ground. I want BitChute to have its streaming service up. then there'll be a legitimate competition.
Honestly, that would make my day. Honestly, it
Fucking
truly
right.
would. And if they could figure out how to do the simul upload better to a point where I'm not uploading maybe 1 every 5 videos, that would be great. But sadly, that is not the case.
Right. YouTube is branding themselves to be a paid TV service. Oh man, yeah. They want to be a streaming service like CBS All Access, like Netflix, like whoever. They're
That was never what YouTube was, though, and now it's just being transitioned into that thing. And the user base, at least it's the hope of me that the user base wouldn't really stand for that, but the user base is vastly overshot what it was originally intended to be, just a space for your everyday average Joe to post stuff that they wanted the rest of the world to see. Whereas now it's got celebrities, it's got actual like news stuff, it's got music videos, obviously. It's got all of this shit. All the shit that you could probably find on regular TV.
And it tells you a lot about the confluence of interest and the network of shillery that's happening with Access Media. The amount of shilling promotional articles for Brie Larson's YouTube channel. Like, what? Why? Who? What? It's just like you're saying, like celebrities having their own YouTube channel. It's like you're seeking them out. You want, if you want to see your favorite celebrities cook their favorite recipes, and it's totally not choreographed material where their makeup artist came in ahead of time and set up perfect lights to make them look more beautiful than their disgusting faces really are. It's totally real, guys. I don't want to see celebrities vlogging. It reveals them to be more idiotic and retarded than I already thought they were.
Yeah, don't take away that degree of separation that we have for the actual person, because then they're less impressive on the screen.
It's like, like reality TV shows where they follow around a family or an individual, whatever, like the Kardashians or whatever the fuck.
I am familiar, but I do not watch them.
Fair enough, but I mean, the content itself is recorded and they come away with a mega fuck ton of footage and it becomes a show in the editing process. You know what I mean? But you still see the kind of people they are, even through the editing process, even through setting up. Okay, well, all you guys, your family's going to sit down for dinner tonight. And it just so happens that there's 3 camera angles set up ahead of time that I'm noticing, and that none of the other cameras appear within the other camera's view range.
How convenient.
Yeah, well, this is what I'm saying. That's a highly choreographed setup situation where they set up these cameras in your house. If that even is your house and not an Airbnb that you rented for the 2 months that you were filming this tripe. But even that is like, so it's a produced show that's meant to look much more realistic. Okay, well, YouTube even brings it down, like a YouTube channel for a celebrity even brings it down more than that. I don't care what. Can you imagine celebrities? Like Twitter's bad enough. You're a celebrity doing, oh, here's what I feel about Trump. Well, Black Lives Matter. I've never thought about any of these things before this very second. Wow. Can you imagine them vlogging about it now?
Oh, God. Oh, God. No, not even vlogging. Imagine them opening up commentary channels like this. And then I have to compete with Brie Larson on that level. Like.
Zombie T says Brie Larson had a stunt ass for the ass shots. Yes, she did. She did have a stunt ass.
Is that confirmed?
Yeah, it is. Here's the pictures of, well, photographic evidence, all too convincing, came out. Yes, that they hired somebody, that they sent out a casting call for a particular person that was extremely athletic, precisely Brie Larson's size and dimensions, except was very clear that they were an ass model. And so it's like and then here's Brie Larson in her Captain Marvel outfit, and her ass is flat enough that you could use it for a protractor.
She lied about doing her own stunts, said Lanny Stanfield.
Yep. There's again, there's a hell of a load of persuasive evidence, like her standing next to her lookalike stunt model, who clearly looks like a much more athletic woman of the world, but still is blonde with the same length hair, is the same height, except has a better build than Brie Larson because she's clearly an athletic woman. And they're standing there together in different shots. They're both doing the same poses. So it's like Brie Larson like runs, is about to do something, and then when she's gonna like look girly and stupid and unathletic and uncoordinated, like that ridiculous failed model would, trying to do anything other than chew gum, the actual athlete comes in and does the thing for her.
All right, now I'm looking at her. All right. Let's find.
You know what you could have done?
Huh?
You could have watched Comic Book Curation over on my channel every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, where we covered this previously, as we do all things in and around comic books, with a flair for the interest, the snark, and yes, the information too. Join us, won't you?
Shameless self-promotion. Woo! Go, Polly. You did it. All right. Here is one of those pictures. I show the audience exactly what it is you are talking about in my funny accent. Ah! Where'd it go? That works. Do you
Assassin
see?
of the Gray is right. Why didn't you just get fit? Like, for real though, they paid you 7 to 8 times as much as they paid every other initial actor coming into a Marvel movie. And you couldn't have hired a personal trainer. You couldn't have stipulated in your contract that the personal trainer would be paid for to get you looking fit as fuck. What's her name did it? Gal Gadot did it. Gal Gadot did it. Like, she looks at, like, you should see her before she went through her personal training phase. Yes, she's tall and skinny still, but at least she looks athletic. Go watch her in Fast and the Furious before she went into training. Holy fuck, she is literally just a straight up and down woman. There's, she looks like fucking Slender Man in a skirt.
Well, now I'm looking. Oh wow. Does she even have boobs?
But Gal Gadot put the fucking time in. It's like, I'm gonna play Wonder Woman. Well, I need to look fucking literally like a goddess. If you know what I mean. I got to build up. I got to have like some kind of defined musculature. Maybe not a bodybuilder, but I got to look athletic. And she pulled it off. Well done. Brie Larson just complained about white dudes interviewing me in the patriarchy and cis white males. And
yeah. So Alpha Omega, I did not get the Streamlabs, and that's because Streamlabs is not letting me on. Although I could probably check the thingy to see if I can stop sharing that. To see if I got anything. God.
Gal Gadot is so fine, says Eve. I totally agree. But it was also her publicist's idea, in my opinion, to start that whole social media, let's sing John Lennon's Imagine together. I was kind of a fail.
That was so cringy.
That was a celebrity faceplant. I don't believe she came up with that idea. Not at all. Those ideas are never the actor's idea originally, in my opinion. The publicist came up with it. Look, you haven't been seen on a red carpet in 2 months. The longer you're not in everyone's face through shill media, the easier it is for people to forget about you, and the harder it is for your agent to get you into movies. You're paying me what does it publicists get? 7%? Agents get 10 to 15, managers get 20.
I don't know. I'm not famous. I'm nobody.
Did Scarlett Bro Handsome work at Scarlett Bro Hampson? Oh no. I had to read that out loud to see what you did there. That's cold, man. That's cold.
Did Scarlett Bro Handsome work yet? Well, I don't get it.
Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Bro Handsome. Like, if you think she looks mannish.
Oh.
Made me laugh. Like, I think Scarlett Johansson's hot, but credit where credit's due, pair to bear.
That was funny. But I didn't get it immediately. I'm sorry.
Neither did I. I had to read it out loud to see it. But I read an interview with Scarlett Johansson where, like for Iron Man 2, first time she was on screen, it said they showed her. She's like, she had already signed the contracts for the role and everything like that. And then they showed her the costume that they came to measure her and fit her for the costume, which was like months and months and months before they ever began filming, because that's how wardrobe works, I guess. And she's like, "This is what you want me to wear?" And she said, "I knew immediately I need to get to the gym," because it's a cat suit essentially. And it's like, yes, ScarJo, that paunch simply will not do. Yeah. But if you look at her, she stopped trying, because as we went over on the 10 hottest ladies of the MCU, there were multiple pictures for Scarlett Johansson that we went over, and we all agreed that both of us agreed that she looked best. And these pictures, those were all from Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
She has gained a lot of weight since she was in Iron Man 2. She clearly doesn't, care as much anymore. It's like, what are you going to do?
Good.
Not hire me? Yeah. So,
I mean, like, she still looked good in Endgame and in Infinity War. Like, she wasn't thick in that way, like with triple C's. She was still like, she was fit. She just filled out a little bit.
People argue that she's got chunky thighs. Now, I'm not one of them, but I'm saying. You think that would be a requirement inside of the contract?
What,
for men and women?
For training?
Yeah, ladies, you can't balloon. Fellas, you can't stop working out. And I'm looking at you, Robert Downey Jr., just so you know, it's not all about women. Dude, you very noticeably stopped working out. You lost your swole, Robert Downey Jr.
Well, isn't part of the reason why he did that was because didn't he have to get super thin for when it was that he was like on the ship in the middle of space eating basically nothing for like 2 months? Or
I would have wrote that into the script if my actor got skinny too.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was deliberate. Okay. But
because like he went through some body morphing in that respect, where he went from normal average Joe, I guess, to like skin and bones, because he was basically starving in space with nothing to eat. So like, I get that, why you wouldn't maintain for that, especially when he went from that to a father figure. So he probably, I'm not saying that dad bod is okay in that instance, but it's totally okay in that instance because he's the dad now. So it makes sense. Right?
Yeah. Well, okay, so I'll be telling you, it's like, who cares if she chunked up? You're very judgmental tonight. That is not true at all. She's still very high up. Like, I mean, she's in my top 10 list of the hottest women in the MCU. She's very close to the top. Weebo argued against it. So I am not one of those people that think Scarlett Johansson is unattractive.
I don't think she's unattractive either.
I think she's pretty fucking hot. I'm perfectly fine with it. She's clearly classic Hollywood, but we're talking simply superficial looks here. What, third marriage now? I mean,
is she married?
Yeah.
No.
Again, dated every very well-known producer in Hollywood.
Yeah.
From the time she was like 18. It was yeah. And by dated, it meant like, well, we dated for about 6 weeks. Meaning you went to Aspen with him for 6 weeks. Like that's Hollywood dating. We dated for about 3 months. He called you late at night and sent a limo for you. Got it.
Yeah, I don't think she chunked out. I think she went from like, she gained at least an inch worth of waist between Iron Man 2 and Endgame. And that's not a bad thing. It's like, not the end of the world. It's not bad. Plus, you have to consider in Endgame, at the very least, right? She had just spent the last, 5 years sitting playing command-based controller with the rest of anyone who was still alive who could do something.
Yeah, what was she going to be doing walking around her 1 million square foot mansion with a surrounding complex where she could go jogging with 3 different gyms for every mood that she was in? Oh no.
Okay, just because you have a gym doesn't mean that you have the luxury of time to use it.
Wait a minute, you just said she was locked up with the rest of us. Didn't she have nothing but time?
Well, she was locked up playing command-based control person. I don't know how much time. I'm speculating here. I was thinking, oh, she's busy taking care of, catastrophes post
monitoring her investments. We're working on that cure for cancer she started so long ago. What was she up to?
Totally. I don't know. Trying to figure out how to get half of every population in the universe back. It seems like
you're talking about Natasha Romanoff. I thought you were talking about Scarlett Johansson. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Okay.
I'm trying to come up with an in-universe explanation for why Natasha Romanoff would gain a little bit of weight. All right, is this bad?
No, not at all. That completely changed the tone of the conversation. Like, in universe, I hear what you're saying. It makes perfect sense. I agree. I thought you were talking about Scarlett Johansson, like how to get half the people back in the universe. And I had a moment of, what the fuck are you?
Oh God. Alpha Omega is asking you, Polly, if your Streamlabs is working, and I think
it's not. I tried and I got the API warning. Won't be back until, what did it say? 11:59 PST. Weebs? Yeah.
Like, we'll still get your money. We just can't read your message. Is the thing.
God, that sounds so bad, doesn't it? I mean, it's true, and I hear you, but it's just like, we'll still get your money.
We just can't read it right now. We'll read it eventually. We just can't read it right now. Is the thing.
Yeah, that's something I legitimately feel bad about. It's like, I've gotten donations like over on Noir Bar right at the end or after the show is over.
Mm-hmm.
And Manic is somebody that she will donate like when she's listening to the stream after the fact.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll log into Streamlabs whenever I'm doing the next one. And it's like, oh Christ, look at these that I missed or whatever. I always feel the need to like read them out at the beginning because that's just fair. Read them out at the beginning of the next stream. But then it's always like, fuck, person might not be here. Oh, well.
Well, they'll hear it afterwards, hopefully, you think.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's happened to me. I've gotten random donations directly to my PayPal. Like, skip the Streamlabs, do not passcode, do not collect $200 completely from people and not 100% know what it was in relation to and not knowing exactly how to credit them because it's their actual name is the thing. So I don't want to like dox people. And it's not a person whose name I actually recognize because it's their real name and not their tag or their handle or whatever. So I'm like, thank you, kind stranger, from my desk where no one can hear me.
Did you watch, sorry, something just popped into my head. Did you watch Spider-Man Far From Good yet?
No, I haven't yet because I wasn't home all weekend when you sent it to me, and I only have it set up on this computer. You
mean when I mailed you my Blu-ray copy, right?
Yeah, I wasn't home when you mailed me the Blu-ray copy. So.
Okay. I my Patriot says there. Polly drinks. Yeah, I forgot when that was. I didn't make the timing connection there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Polly drinks. It happens. Yeah,
I drank this weekend. Let me tell you something. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you texted me about something. Or you messaged me on Discord about something, and you're like, can you do this thing for me? And I think I sent you back a really drunken response, like, yeah, sure, I can do that. I'm drunk right now, but like, send it to me. I'll do it when I'm sober in the morning. And then I never got it. And so...
Yeah,
just to remind you that that's a thing. Do you still need me to do that?
No, I'm gonna.
Yes.
I don't think that people, as a general rule, never read people's DMs or release them. That's just bad. That's just violating a confidence. You know what I mean? Yeah. An implied confidence. But in this case, I think it's fine.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't mind.
I said, I DM Weebs and I say, I need your help with the video. Can you record a paragraph read for me, please? And then with the big Disney eyes emoji. And she said, when do O need it by? And I said, if we could do it tomorrow, that would be good. And she said, I think Zan do that. Am drunk and in the cabin, so just send me ad, I will do the thing. And when I read that, I understood what was going on. I was like, okay, it's cool. It's cool. It's good.
I tried so hard to make it legible, and then I was like, said, oh, fuck.
I'm trying to remember what that was even for.
Oh, so you don't even remember?
I will. But I'm trying to remember specifically what. Right now, I can't remember what the hell that was for. There was. Oh, I know. I remembered. I just remembered.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I'm sorry. I can't get over how funny I am when I'm drunk.
Zan.
I Zan do that. I Zan do the thing.
Send over cabs, Zans.
Because I didn't want to say no, because it's Polly. I can't say no to Polly.
Yeah, I hear that from women a lot.
Oh my god. That's not how I meant that.
Well, that's how I meant it. Hold on. I'm looking for
Yeah, see, I could pull off Jar Jar speak, and I make it adorable and hilarious. And see, the prequels would be just so much better if it was just me playing Jar Jar Binks. All right? Full stop. Not with the costume.
You know what I find funny?
What?
Is that people have really forgotten what a masterstroke it was to make sexy MILF Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. I mean, if you're going to recast a character out of character from the comics, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You improve upon the character.
Yes, you do.
But Polly.
Yes.
How do you know that diversity hires aren't improving upon a character?
Because they're not.
How do you know that replacing redheads with literally any diversity character is not improving?
Well, you just said it, didn't you? Your question contained the answer.
I know. It's not the answer. It's never been the answer. Because that would make you a supremacy Nazi like fuck, said Spirit Thief. That's one way to put it. And we jest, but it happens. It happens too much. It started off as a joke, Polly. It did. It truly did. And I don't know what happened. It just became the thing. I predicted the thing and it became the thing.
You'll see what I mean when you watch Spider-Man Far From Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm probably going to watch it tonight.
There's this film is meant for, all ages kind of thing. So we want to appeal to every age group. And I get that. I understand what you're saying. It is a superhero film. You want it to appeal to kids. It seems like it's aimed at derpy 12-year-olds, that movie, in a really big way.
Am I not the most derpiest of 12-year-olds you've ever met? I am a 12-year-old boy on the inside, Polly.
I don't mean 12-year-old boy in the way it's like,
Yeah.
I don't mean it in a good way.
Oof.
That's why I said derpy. Like the level of humor. Because it is just constant one-liner quips that are just they're so groan-worthy. That's
the way that the MCU has been running itself since the onset, isn't it? Like, quippy one-liners is the thing. It started off as charming in Iron Man, and then, it became like a fancy one-linersy thing in Avengers, and then it was annoying in Endgame and Infinity War because it just took you out of the moment that they were trying to build, and now it's just kind of par for the course. And I think the reason why it's annoying is because you're just so done with it because it's been done.
Yeah, especially when you take it, excuse me, to the next level. It's like the beginning of Last Jedi, where Finn is walking around and he's got the tubes coming out of him that are spraying everywhere, and it's like, like it's on the level of pratfall comedy at this point, in the middle of what's supposed to be like a deadly serious scene. Ridiculous pratfall, deadly serious scene. Like, it's just it what the hell's going on here?
Beats me.
It's called consistent tone in a film, and you don't need to be a filmmaker to recognize when a film is inconsistent in tone, because you as the audience member are the one who detects that. You're sitting there watching the film, you're like, well, that was odd. Okay, let's look at some pictures.
Okay, we'll look at some pictures. Also, it sounds like there's either gunshots going off outside of my house or it's still fireworks. I'm gonna go with fireworks. And hope that Atlanta's problem has not reached my hometown.
Chrome has a bug that can cause screen sharing to crash on Windows 10.
Oh,
it's
no.
pretty rare, but it happens. You may want to use Firefox to share your screen.
I thought you didn't use Chrome.
I use Chrome exclusively for Hangouts and this StreamYards thing.
Okay. It was thunderstorming pretty bad earlier today when I was at the cabin still, so that was nice. I like a good thunderstorm.
Well, hopefully it didn't wash you out.
It did not. Atlanta has a problem. Oh, yeah, if you're familiar with what transpired over 4th of July weekend in Atlanta, then you would know. There was some shit going down.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it right now. Let's criticize females' bodies.
Well, this is the Scarlett Johansson picture from Iron Man 2. And this is after she saw the bodysuit, the cat suit they wanted her to wear, and actually went to the gym and bothered to care. And then when you see her by the time of Avengers, well,
That's not the worst in the world.
no, it's not. It's not even close. Like, she's actually looking like a little bit. This is nice all in around here. I'm okay with this. Like, this is some people would call this chunky. Not at all. I call that shapely.
And by some people, you mean Jack, right?
He's not alone in thinking that at all. I mean, I think he's wrong. Him and I have discussed that many a time. But
He still looks good.
oh, so I agree. What confuses me is why did they cut this scene out? Like, it's only available in the deleted scenes. I think it would have been fine.
What scene is this? Hang on, what?
It's where they're hanging out talking at the in the conference room when they're discussing what they're going to do. And
This looks photoshopped.
No, that's totally a real picture.
No, this looks photoshopped.
Let me have this, Weebs. It's totally a real picture.
It's not a real picture. This isn't real. No fucking way is it.
No, it's a deleted scene. She wanted to be more persuasive at the meeting on the helicarrier, so she, showed up armed.
She not wearing a bra underneath that cat suit? Like, oh my god, poor nipples. Holy chafing. God damn.
No, it's just a very well-designed, carefully placed bra. Double-sided tape was employed. It's fine.
This is a Christian stream. How dare you, Polly?
What? There's no nipplage. This is fine. And I'm not sure if it was necessary for her to spritz her cleavage with an atomizer, but I think the results speak for themselves. It's fine.
Anti-chafe material are built in. Sure, Jan. She in casual shield gear says Spirit Thief. Yeah, is it Casual Friday on the shield helicarrier today?
That's pretty goddamn casual. Do you remember the original avatar that I was going to use? Because neither of our avatars really appear in the top 10 hottest ladies of the MCU video. Do you remember the one that I edited in there for you and then you reacted poorly when you saw the raw cut? No.
Which one was it? Oh, that one? Yeah. Thanks, Polly. You make me feel so good about
whenever
myself.
Weebo talked, this is the image that came up.
No, I don't think you showed me this.
No, I did. I remember you going, what the fuck? Like, you were not pleased.
I wonder why.
I ended up changing it to, it's an avatar image of you from somewhere where you're putting a baseball hat on backwards. I forget where I got it. So Spider-Man Far From Good, they replace the loveliness of Laura Harrier with Zendaya, who even though Laura Harrier plays Liz Allen in the first movie and is his love interest, they decide to replace his love interest with Zendaya. And it really annoys me because she's really annoying, as an actress, and she's like not even remotely as attractive, but she has Laura Harrier, whoever the hell it is, that is Zendaya Coleman. Your name is Zendaya Coleman. What's with the single name thing? Oh, well, I'm like Madonna. I'm like Cher. I'm like Prince. I go by one name. What a publicity PR stunt thought up by her promotion company. And whoever her promotion company, I'm sorry?
It works, doesn't it?
What I guess, you know what actually works? Whatever her publicity agency and talent agency are doing is what works, because Shill Media picked her up and did constant stories about her where it's like African American, blah blah blah, and POC and blah blah, and it's like, but all those things could be said of Laura Harrier. I don't understand. And it's like, because she has a better talent agency than you, Laura Harrier, because she's in every magazine and you're not. She's in a whole bunch of movies and you're not. When it came to the next MCU movie, she took your fucking place.
Ooh.
Whoever her agent is kicks your agent's ass. Because Laura Harrier is still doing what she was doing before she got those acting gigs, modeling. And she's modeling for like super high-end watches that cost like $25,000 for no sane reason, and Gucci and all sorts of other things. So it's not like she's broke. She's doing fine. She's a millionaire many times over. But my point is, whoever your agents are, you should ask them to go spy on Zendaya Coleman's agents and find out what they're up to, because they managed to get that no talent hack who's frankly not very good looking in everything. I mean, look at this. Throughout all of Spider-Man Far From Good, we don't get to see this stunning creature.
I think you're just super salty that you don't get to see that stunning creature.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on, hello.
But you also put her as first on your list in the MCU.
Yeah. Yeah. But it could have very easily been Rebecca Hall.
Yeah.
It was a toss-up. And I think I would reorder that list, but it would not be changing anything that were in the top 10. It would just be some slight reorders.
Personally, I don't think that Zendaya is all that ugly. I think she has a prettiness about her, but so does Laura. But also I'm straight, so my opinion doesn't really matter, does it?
I think Emily Van Camp probably would have been a little bit higher on the list than I put her. Rebecca Hall probably would have been number 1. Laura Harrier number 2. I mean, all the people are right that are there. All the ladies are right that are there. Just a little bit of reordering.
Mm-hmm. So you'd have the same 10, just
yeah.
Okay. I think we've had that conversation, actually. Deleted scenes. Lol, says Victor P. Yeah, I don't think that was from a deleted scene, Polly.
No, it totally was.
Mm-mm.
I mean, Hayley Atwell would have been a couple of spots higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hadn't seen that nip slip Instagram video that she sent out where, you know, you find out that, whew, damn girl.
You're a very silly man.
She doesn't do nudie shots or anything like that because Hayley Atwell's a lady. And she doesn't do nude scenes and et cetera, et cetera. No. She doesn't do any of that. You can't find nude shots of her online. Or it's like, this was totally leaked footage of me on a beach in a bikini. I didn't know that the paparazzi was there taking pictures of me, and I'm really insulted. Really? That's why you're wearing sunglasses and standing in a pose shot, oiled from head to toe, looking like you just walked out of a gym?
It happens. It happens, Polly.
Right. Right. The sun hitting you just so. You didn't hire a photographer to just shoot you from a distance and then claim that it was leaked to the press, right? No.
It happens. Trust me. Totally. 100%. I, too, find myself in a position to be photographed on occasion.
Do you just walk around and pose and shit? Is that the noise you make?
I'm doing it now. Actually, yeah, that's what Lion Patriot is here for. He is my paparazzi, and he takes all of the good photographs. And
Remember this picture?
Oh, no. Yes, I do. I recall. And I know exactly why it made it into the billing in pictures.
Well, it did. And I still remember what you said. That audio made it into the final edit where you're like, see, being a woman who deals with situations like this, I just kind of want to walk up to her and say, no, honey, no, hold on. Let me just pop those back in. Yeah, that's it.
Come on.
I mean, I gotta ask, if you're a woman and you're walking around and this is what's going on, like, do you not feel like, you know, a draft? Do you not feel extremely exposed, or are you just loving the attention? Like, I can't set aside my experience.
The problem is, like, this area is not as super sensitive to like air fluctuations as we'd like them to be. And so as a result, if one happens to pop out at some point, it's not going to be super obvious to us until we look down and we're like, oh shit. Like, if the whole thing pops out, obviously, we're going to notice. But like, if like there's just a little bit of like uncoverage, it's not going to be super obvious to us necessarily.
No, but I mean, like, let's say you're walking out like this and you're quote unquote covered. You know what I mean? Like, don't you feel like you got your titties out? Like, doesn't it?
Well, if that's the purpose of the dress, then not necessarily. But like, if they're placed in position, if the ladies have taken up the position that they're meant to be in, then they're fine. Not going to be an issue. But if there's like one tit out of place, that's when it becomes a problem.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a whole science, Polly. Boob science is real.
Oh yes, boob science is very real. Do you know the hundreds of millions of dollars spent on perfecting jiggle physics for video games and hentai? Oh my god.
Did you know that boobs actually float in water? Natural boobs, that is.
I have heard that because who was that? Was that Pop-Tart telling me that, you know, when you dive into a pool and if you don't have like a very supportive one-piece bathing suit, you're going to get punched in the chin by your own tits? Are
going to flop to the top.
Yeah.
Yep. Can confirm.
See, where I'm getting these pictures from is, excuse me,
internet.
Well, that's where I got them from originally, but no, they're all in a folder for that Hottest Women of the MCU video, where I had to get, well, I don't know, a given number of images of each lady, and it was, what was it originally? The video was like, I just listed every woman I could think of in the MCU, and I think there were 24 women on the list, and it's part 1 and 2, and part 1 is just listing off the women who didn't make the top 12, and then I did a top 12 recording with you over like basically 2 hours, but then edit it in such a way that it sounds like a top 10 list. That was not easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Editing props to Polly, especially on his potato.
Well, thank you. My potato, and I used a trackpad for the whole thing. But anyway.
Big deal.
Grabbing these pictures in the way that I did, I do not look forward to you doing this. That's why I bring it up, because I'm looking at the folder right now with all of them organized. Like there's the Marissa Tomei pictures, the Kat Dennings, the Elizabeth Olsen, the Jamie Alexanders, all of them, and they're all labeled like Scarlett Johansson 1, Scarlett Johansson 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had them in the proper order where I was going to place them in. You weebs with your organizational proclivities. Oh my God. As much hell as you gave me that, like, no, see, you can't use GIFs. Because, like, I had a GIF of, I had 2 GIFs of Laura Harrier, and I was simply trying to illustrate why she had made it so high on the list. And you're like, if you used a GIF for one, you must use a GIF for all. This is not a scientific approach. And, like, I didn't put forward a spreadsheet like you did, where, isn't one of your categories hairline and mustache quality?
Here, let us open the spreadsheet, because there is a spreadsheet for this too.
It's nice in the grace that it should be in character images only. I remember you saying that there should be one. Sometimes you're showing images of them in costume, and then sometimes just like out on the street or red carpet or whatever. So you should have like one of each. And I'm like, you have a good time with that level of OCDism. I was just grabbing some pictures to illustrate the points why I think the actress is hot. End of story.
Yeah, so we have good hairline is one of the aspects I'm looking at here, and it is very scientific, if I do say so myself. Some of my more on point accounting shenanigans. It's very similar to how I did the housing spreadsheet with the ones and whatnot. But the criterion that we are going off of, it's a little bit different. And I don't want to spoil it for everybody, because I want that to be part of the video too when we go over it.
Okay, remind me again with the hairline thing. It's whether they have a good hairline or like, because like
it's Chris, literally good hairline. No, yes.
Okay.
No,
so it doesn't matter
if
it was surgically obtained.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I'm not one to judge.
Because Steve Rogers' hairline is fake news.
Yes, Polly, we're aware.
Well, it's just and men, you need not feel bad. Those are digital moves.
But yes, this is going to be very scientific.
The guy went to the gym. He bulked up, no question. But those pecs, man, come on. Those are digital moves.
Those are digital moves. Yeah, we were going to do Weebo's men of the comic book universes for the last 2 decades. Right? So it's anyone in a comic book movie is fair game for this. And so far, let's see. I have gone through 69 movies. I have 2 more left to see. And in terms of men that I've gone through, that I have accounted for, we have gone through 231 unfinished. But of those 231, I have eliminated almost 200.
No, I didn't want to say anything because I'm totally clipping that. You just said, of the men that I've gone through, that I've accounted for, we have 281.
Listen, rude. How dare. Yeah, so I had to be very critical about this.
I tried to dissuade her from this chat.
Oh.
I made my arguments. It wasn't good enough for Weebo to go MCU and DCEU. She had to go like, bring the Fantastic Four films and the Four-fastic third one. So the two with Chris Evans and his moobs.
It's not just the MCU Assassins of the Grey. It is every comic book movie from the last 2 decades. So in the last 20 years, not just MCU.
It's like that's all. That's the Blade films that she's gone through, except for the last one.
Yeah, I have Blade Trinity left and Spider-Man Far From Home to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god!
That's not all of the men that I have, gone through and eliminated. But yeah, there were a lot. The elimination round was brutal.
What was the hard date that you set from this year up? I forget. Wow. Either Weebo froze or she is really thinking about that year.
I think it was 2000. Anything before 2000 was like no go. So January 1st, 2000 and onwards to 2020.
I'm just saying that's a lot of work just to name Henry Cavill as number 1 when you knew that's the way it was going to end up. I
have not ensured that is the case. All right. And we haven't gotten to that point because I've been saving the specific criterion round for when it is that I have all of my mails, consolidated into one nice spreadsheet. Okay. So there are 3 spreadsheets currently, right now, at this very juncture. There are 3 spreadsheets. I cannot confirm that it will stay 3 spreadsheets. We might have to go into 4. All right. That's how serious I am about this. And I'll show them to you. When we actually do the thing in the video.
Well, Assassin's of the Grey says this is the hottest of the MCU. Well, no, if I said that, if she said that, that was an accident. It's like hottest of comic book films since 2000 would be she got to come up with her own title, man. I just went MCU alone because I was just rank ordering them and decided to turn it into a video, and I'll bring Weebo along to judge my taste.
Yeah. And my idea was I'm going to objectify all the comic book males. And that's going to be the title. Weebo objectifies all the comic book males. It's working title. I haven't settled on it yet is the thing. But yeah, there are 3 spreadsheets currently.
But I'm like, and it's going to be weird. It's going to be like very awkward for me because like Weebo was able to offer insightful commentary in a way that a woman can, that a red-blooded male can't. She's like, oh, I really like her Cupid's bow. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And like, oh, her hair color, it's dishwater, and then she just rushes off to demonstrate different hair colors and stuff. And like, my commentaries will be like, oh, and okay, here's this guy because he's really hot. He really, gets blood flowing places and stuff. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, okay, he's all right, I guess.
I'm being asked where Alfred ranked. I'm pretty sure he didn't make it past elimination.
Which Alfred? Like Batman 89 and Batman Returns? Alfred?
Oh, I didn't do any of the animated stuff.
Or Michael Caine or Jeremy Iron?
Jeremy Iron did not make the list. He did not make it past elimination. And neither did Michael Caine. But then there's Alfred Molina, who's Dr. Octavius, and he also did not make it past elimination. So don't feel bad.
I'm curious, did Ben Affleck make it past elimination?
Let me check. Yes, he did.
Huh.
Yep. Actually, he's here twice for whatever reason. We're gonna have to fix that. We can't have copies. Actually, that's funny is because there was a possibility that there would be copies for certain characters.
Like Chris Evans. I mean, he
Like Chris Evans, yeah.
Yeah.
Or so some of these actors you see like 3 times.
Oh, really? Who's 3? I'm curious. That's a
what was his
interesting piece of trivia.
name? It was Digimon Hauson. Oh, here, let me show you who he is. He's the guy that plays the wizard. I think he's the guy that also plays what's his face? This guy.
That's pretty. He plays the wizard.
He plays like the wizard in Shazam. He plays Midnight in the Wolverine movie, I think, and then he plays Korath, which I can't even remember where that was.
Oh God, you mean
Mm-hmm.
X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah.
Oh, you poor woman.
Yeah. Yep.
God, how bad was that, huh?
But yeah,
it
it happened.
Failure after a big success. I mean,
that there are a few repeats in here, universe wise, and that was an interesting thing to notice. He's French African. Ooh, interesting. He's in Guardians. Thank you. Yes, I think that's where he's from.
is what's his name anywhere near the top?
Who?
Used to be fat, then got ripped and hired a new talent agency to put him in everything. What's his
Chris
name?
Pratt?
Yeah.
We have Chris Pine, Chris Pratt. We have Chris Pratt in here.
Yeah, Chris Pratt. He scored near the top.
Yeah.
I gotta get.
He made it past elimination. I haven't actually accounted for where people are in the ranking yet. Is the thing. So far, I have almost 50 gentlemen to go through and rank them according to the criterion round. And then
that's where I know him from. Amistad. Okay. That's where I remember him from the most, I think.
Thank you, Alpha Omega. I am being thorough. Assassin of the Grey says the task, condition, and standards for this project are wildly inconsistent. They're not. They're really not. It's been any male in the last 20 years in a comic book film has been accounted for in the original lineup. And then from there, they're eliminated. And I don't want to specify how exactly, because that's going to be one of those funny things that we talk about in the actual video. And then those people who weren't eliminated in the elimination round go on to the more specific criterion round, where I'll narrow it down to my top 10. And then from there, I have to figure out more criteria.
Did Christian Bale make it through elimination? No?
No, he did not.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
He did not. Unfortunately, he did not. Anyone else curious about anyone else?
I love how Weebo's got a comic mails database. So
I do. I do. Yes, Keanu Reeves made it past the elimination round.
What was he in?
He was John Constantine.
Oh, right. I'm thinking, what comic book? Because I'm thinking, they did out a comic for Matrix, and I just didn't think of Constantine. Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm super excited to release this into the wild. Because it's going to go one of two ways. People are either going to judge me harshly, or they're going to be like, wow, mad respect, Weebo. You are serious about this scientific analysis here you're doing.
I've got this frightening feeling that the video, let's say it's 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long, okay? It's 20 minutes long, 15 minutes is going to be about her methodology, and 5 minutes are going to be about the results.
Yeah, well, so that's the thing that I'm super excited for us to have a discussion about, is the methodology. And then you're judge me, because I feel like that'll get more conversation than the actual, so this is what it is, and this is why this is. And from there, but yes, we are on the cusp of this becoming a reality, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to have this discussion with Polly. It better be at least an hour long.
Well, I ended up deciding to make it into 2 videos. Okay, let me tell you something, chat. What I wanted to do a 25-minute, maybe half an hour long recording with Weebo for this one thing. And we get into a hangout and I start recording fucking 98 minutes. How am I going to cut that down to 15 minutes? I'm going to have to leave the extreme majority of it on the cutting room floor. It's going to be, I haven't even started, Weebo. Haven't even started.
Is it just that daunting that you don't want to touch it?
Pretty much.
Oof.
The daunt is real.
You poor thing.
If there's daunting and dauntless, is daunt a root word? Can you say that?
No.
I shall not encounter the daunt.
Actually, I shouldn't be so confident about my rejection of that.
This mission will be very daunty.
Yeah, actually, daunt literally means to make someone feel intimidated or apprehensive.
Huh. You shall not daunt me.
So then what's the difference between daunting and daunt? Oh, daunting is an adjective. Seeming difficult to deal with in anticipation, intimidating. Dauntless. Showing fearlessness or determination. Huh. The more you know.
Every time I hear dauntless, I just think of British ship names. Because goddamn, the British are good at naming ships.
I think of that god-awful young adult dystopian apocalypse book. Was it Divergent?
Oh yeah, where they're part of the Dauntless Squad. Yeah.
They basically just copy-pasted Hunger Games mixed with Harry Potter and put it into a movie or into a book. They're like, here you go.
Yeah.
Like, the concept... Okay, so taking the concept of a post-apocalyptic dictatorship world and putting it into a YA novel was novel when it was just the Hunger Games, but then everyone and their mother did that too. But Divergent took it a step further, and they didn't just take an idea from the Hunger Games, they took it from Harry Potter too, in that they like allocated people to different houses according to their personalities, and I'm just like, you're not sending the best message here, are you? But it's so stupid.
I remember Red Letter Media's criticism of it, like Mike Stacklasa when he was doing. Why would this movie? This movie isn't aimed at young women. The novel isn't aimed at young women because it doesn't present anything that would be stereotypical in its application towards that demographic at all. I mean, enforcing that decisions you make on your group and clique will be one of the most important decisions you ever make in your life. That one of the best things that can happen to you in your life is an older boy showing interest in you and making you feel special. That he just listed off these things, and I was like, "Oh no, Mike, Jesus, you're tearing this fucking movie apart one sentence at a time, and it's really rough."
It is, and okay, here's the kicker, right? Because this was before they came out with a movie, when it was just a book and it was a cultural phenomenon because it was a book or whatever. This book, because it's not going to be made into a movie until it like makes waves as a book first. Right. This was for required reading in high school for me.
What? Really?
Yeah, it was our summer reading book. Because every summer we'd get a book that we had to read as a class, and then they would discuss it in the English class the next year as like the start of what it was that our lesson was. And Divergent was that book one year.
Why?
There was also Malcolm Gladwell's The Outsiders or Outlanders. I can't remember. Outliers. The Book Thief, and I can't remember what the other one was. I think it had something to do with American teenagers or something. But yeah, it was really weird. And I remember having to read this book and thinking to myself, This is so stupid. I read The Hunger Games already. Why am I reading this?
What themes? Like, I can understand like Chris McCandless's story as told by Cathauer, being assigned to a friend of mine online, Zelfor. It's like, I don't think that that's a great book. I would question its inclusion, especially Cathauer's book, in required reading, but I get the themes that are being applied there. It's Jack London. It's striking out into the unknown. It's leaving civilization behind. It's, you know, there's a lot of romanticism in the classic sense of the word going on there. I get it. But fuck, really? Divergent? What are the themes to be examined there? It's all very superficial. And if you want to pick stuff of like questions of personal identity and where you fit in a larger society and dystopianism, and so there's like a fucking 4 or 5 dozen better choices. Weebo's thinking hard. She's thinking real hard. Look at that. Look at the wheels turn. Holy shit, smoke's going to start coming out of her ears in a minute. She's really firing them neurons. Yeah, I'm going to start coming up with a list of topics for when Weebo EXE fails to run that I can just like run off with and talk about. Oh shit, she totally dropped them on my own. Okay, let's talk about things that are going to get her channel banned. Back to the boobs. You want to go back to the boobs, chat? We could do that. And just open up the folder here. Well, now shit, we can't go back to the boobs because she's got to share my screen. God damn it. Come watch Noir Bar, where it's all boobs all the time. Not really, but you know, that's how advertising works in the current year. Am I right?
I'm back.
Hello.
The Wi-Fi shit here for whatever reason. Ah! It's not my fault. I tried. I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to be Mr. Technical, but have you tried restarting your router? That actually does a hell of a lot for me.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Like hard restarting your router, I mean.
The problem is I'm not the only one using the router.
Gotcha.
At the moment, unfortunately. But that's okay. It's okay.
Thank you, Assassin of the Grave, by the way, for promoting subscriptions and the like. Yeah. Have you suffered a channel loss? Did you get channel subs purged?
Actually, no. I went up in subs because I was already down, but I went up for
over the weekend.
Reason, over the weekend, and I think it had to do with my 2 uploads, which was really nice. I don't know. I was on a roll last week. I was just cranking out script after script, and I was like, I have 2 for Weebo hot takes. I'm gonna make 2 videos this week. Because that's what I said I wanted to start doing, is I wanted to do Weebo hot takes, but like not on a monthly basis when everything was already stale. Right. I want to just like here's a quick take with a spicy Weebo at the end. And so that's what I did. And I made 2. And I'm proud of both of them. Because one of them was basically me just providing proof that the St. Louis couple were in the clear the whole time, that they were, you know, defending their private property. Because
I really liked that video. Yeah. That's the one I DM'd you about. It was really, really well done.
Thank you. But that was a point of contention on the internet for whatever reason. Like, oh no, they weren't actually on private property. The street isn't private property. The area over there is not private property because it's a national historical monument. And I'm like, bitch, I will go out and bitch. I will find thought and orders and grim grinners. Yeah, exactly.
Listen, Ken and Karen were completely in the right. And okay, yeah, I understand the arguments around trigger control. Yeah, flashing people you're not intending to shoot. Okay, I hear you, and that is a legitimate argument. But to see Chris Cuomo questioning him, McCloskey, I believe is his last name.
McCloskey, yeah.
Yeah. Questioning him and saying, okay, and what damage was actually done to your property? What was, and he said, they were approaching the house, were on my property damage already had occurred. And the reason that nothing went further is because we displayed arms, that we are willing to protect ourselves.
No shots were fired, but it was very clear that we're willing to protect ourselves. And Chris Cuomo has the red hot fucking nerve to say back to him, how do you know that? So they would have, in Chris Cuomo's mind, had to had their house stormed and them physically beaten before they were able to do something about it. You don't think an entire mob once they had broken that fence down, they were on his property. That fence was his property. They had literally already damaged his property, and Chris Cuomo wasn't willing to hear that. This guy, Cuomo actually had the fucking balls, Weebo, to ask him, how does it feel to be the poster boy and face of political resistance to Black Lives Matter? I don't know, Chris. When did you stop beating your wife? Any other painfully obvious loaded questions? You fucking news entertainer? You fucking fraud?
Well, here's a good response to how do you know that was going to happen? Well, how do you know that wasn't going to happen, right? How do you know that they weren't going to come even further onto my property and destroy things and loot and rob? You don't know either way.
Right.
And so the best course of action is to be cautious.
The only thing they're criticizable for is bad trigger control, which was really flashing people that you didn't, flashing meaning pointing a gun at someone you're not directly intending to shoot at that moment.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
no
what
one's standing
Karen
behind
was
that,
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no one is. And Ken didn't really, it's arguable Karen did.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no question about that. But these are not tactically trained people. No, they're not. They're two citizens observing their Second Amendment rights to protect life, liberty, and property.
Yeah.
That's all that happened there. Full stop.
But
and
apparently,
they were trying to get to the mayor's house, which cannot be gotten to by the path that they were traveling. What? Not
directly, at least, right?
Yeah, but they thought it was. So what they do? They broke down a fence that was his property and walked onto his property. They were walking down the street, which is all private property. Yeah. Oh, well, they didn't know that. I don't understand how any of that is material. Ken knew that. McCloskey knew that, is the point. It's like, holy shit, these guys just broke down my fence and are on my property. It's a giant mob of people all wearing masks and shit. They were trying to protect themselves from COVID, camoed out all kinds of gear. One of them threatened them pulled out 2 magazines. You're next. They weren't threatening you. Cuomo, Jesus Christ, you fucking fraud. You're not even pretending to be a journalist anymore. You're just saying that you're one. Sorry, it made me so fucking mad watching that fucking full interview with McCloskey. And he's saying, you can answer my questions, sir. It's okay for you've got a lawyer. You'll be fine. I promise. Yeah, you're gonna take promises from Fredo to mean fucking anything? Get fucked. I'm amazed McCloskey kept his fucking temper as well as he did. Sorry, Weebs, what were you saying?
Assassins of the Grey is right. They did breach a gate with signs reading private road, no trespassing. So, they should have known, regardless, while they were walking over the broken down sign to get into the private road, while they were walking down the private gate to get into the private road, to get to said mayor's house. So, they obviously didn't care. So if they didn't care about the actual gate itself and the private property sign that was in place, then obviously they're not going to care about other things that are private property. It's reasonable to assume that they don't give a fuck. And so, not knowing what their motives, what their intentions are necessarily, it's reasonable to wield a gun in the event that you need to deter people from walking onto your property and, making you into the next roof Korean type. Honestly, with what we just had over the weekend in certain parts of the country due to protests, I don't know how any single person could make the argument that you shouldn't wield a gun at protesters walking past your private property, on your private property, to get them to move the fuck on. Because if you don't do that, chances are shit might go down. Chances are, if you don't get your car out of the middle of a protest, someone's going to take a sledgehammer to the back window. Chances are someone's going to shoot into your car and kill your 8-year-old daughter. Chances are someone's going to, bust out your store and loot the whole place. Chances are someone's going to pick you up around the middle and just check you right over their shoulder onto your skull and fracture it. Chances are. Do you want to take those chances? Honestly, truly, do you?
Yeah.
I don't.
And that line in the Cuomo interview is like, and then Donald Trump tweeted out the video, and at the end of it, it has the guy screaming white power. And we know that the president tweeted it out for that purpose because he deleted it. And then McCluskey responds, it's like, well, Chris, I'm glad you think you're a mind reader because nobody else does. I mean, and that becomes what we, a bunch of people on the internet know, but it's just not anybody who's watching CNN, and that's the point. It's designed for the audience. It's designed to calcify and radicalize the people that already agree with Cuomo. That's why he's asking all of these insulting, accusatory questions of somebody that they already think is in the wrong to make him look unrepentant and evil, threatening the lives of a bunch of peaceful protesters. That's the narrative that they went with. And Cuomo was all too quick to do it. Oh man, I want to go viral over this. I need to be standing up. Is like CNN, whether it be Lemon or Anderson or fucking Fredo or Jim Acosta, bunch of self-promoting scumbags that they want to be the center of the story. I'm the one accusing the person of these things and calling out the wrongs, and I hold people to account because I'm a journalist. You're a sensationalist, race-baiting scumbag. I mean, your Alex Jones was slightly more credibility.
You know what's funny to me is that the McCloskeys, specifically Mr. McCloskey, is a lawyer, and the fact that he was invited on air to have that conversation with Cuomo, right? It's just it was Cuomo, or was it? Yeah, it was Cuomo.
Yeah,
Fredo Cuomo. See, the number of names, they confuse me. But the fact that he was having that conversation with Chris Cuomo on air, that he volunteered to enter into that conversation with McCloskey, who is a lawyer, just boggles my mind, because that was going to be a spicy back and forth from the get-go, because he's not going in with good intentions. Obviously, McCloskey's going up with like defense guns blazing anyway, because he knows he's going to be attacked by the mainstream media because of the way that people have been reacting. And that was part of the reason why I made my video, was because I was like, people are looking for any and all little just like wiggle room to justify demonizing this couple who was just doing what the rooftop Koreans were doing what any person protecting their home from potential invaders are doing,
right?
And they're being demonized for standing there.
And they're very useful for that purpose. It's not so much just demonizing these people. That, in my opinion, is a means to an end, to demonstrate that the protestings are peaceful. They are, in fact, victims. They're doing nothing wrong. All of the rioting that's going on doesn't matter. And when it does happen, you get Fredo saying what? A week prior, whoever said protests should be peaceful and not harmful? Where's that written in the Constitution? You just journalist, you just justified rioting of like private shops. And it was like, I watched what's his name's take on it, Amazing Atheist, TJ Kirk. I mean, that guy at this point is just desperate trend whoring. He's like, I agree with the protests and the rioters, burn it all down, because I don't think that most of America, and myself included, feel really bad that Target and Walmart are getting looted, giant corporations. Oh yeah, let me cry a river over that. It was also, you fucking moron, deliberately leaving it out, and you goddamn well know it. A bunch of private businesses owned by black people, white people, Asian people. But you're not talking about that. You're talking about when a giant company, a chain, a corporation gets robbed. It's like, yeah, those did, as well as a bunch of small businesses that don't have the ability to repair, and their insurance isn't going to cover their losses. But who cares, as long as you can get 100,000 clicks on a video, right?
You
Right.
fat banana ass thrusting fucking atheist scum.
And okay, so I get it. You're going to make a distinction between the multi-billion-dollar corporations versus the mom and pop shops, but the rioters aren't, and they haven't been, and we've seen that they haven't been, and we know that they haven't been. So to make that argument as being willfully ignorant at best and maliciously just censorious at worst.
Yeah, I agree.
And I cannot abide that. I just have a visceral reaction to just the willful ignoring of this other side of things that's going on, right? Because like George Floyd dies, and everyone loses their absolute fucking shit over it. An 8-year-old girl dies this weekend, 4th of July, because of the protests. I've not heard the same outcry. I have not. And I'm totally blanking on her name right now. But it was, oh God, the poor baby. Oh God.
And you won't, because it's not convenient for a purpose. When people say it doesn't fit the narrative, I think they're absolutely right. But in two ways, they're right. It doesn't fit the narrative in the sense of politically, like ideologically, it doesn't fit the narrative. And two, it can't be sensationalized in the same way to sell ad space.
Her name was Sequoia Turner. That was her name. And that's why I couldn't get it, because it's such an odd name. But I read about it yesterday, and my heart just absolute broke at the news, because like, I get it. We should totally come up with some sort of mechanism to reform the police in the way that their training is issued to them. Obviously. But we shouldn't have collateral damage in the pursuit of that, because at this point it's no longer about police reform. It's just about airing your grievances with the world in a way that's cathartic and not at all justified. It's been 2 months. It's not about police reform anymore. If that.
Well, no, it's clearly not about that. Did you saw the news about the one protester that was killed? Well, the two people that were hit and one of them died in Seattle when they were blocking the highway.
Yeah, the car blockade. Yeah, I did. The guy coming around a blind curve, and then he swerves to avoid the car, and then hits two stragglers in the road.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's an all right way of describing. I mean, you watch the video and there's numerous ways it can be described. I think other angles would be necessary. My view of it is that the guy's driving. Somebody needs to determine whether or not he was speeding. I don't know. I can't tell from the video. He seems to be going quite fast, but then again, it's a highway, and I don't know how much of the highway he could see in front of him, whether there were cars in the way, if he could see that or not when he was coming around that turn. I'm going to bet that he couldn't, considering the speed that he was going. But what you clearly see is, holy shit, there's cars parked sideways in the middle of the fucking highway. So he curves around one to avoid hitting it and ends up hitting people that are in the middle of the road.
And there's no way that he could have really seen who was on the other side of that car, too, because the car was in the way of his ability to see. Yeah.
No. And the two people he hit, look at Diaz Love, 32 years old, and Summer Taylor, 24 years old. You know, classic Black Lives Matter activists in the sense that they're both white. One of them's non-binary, et cetera, shaved head, purple hair, blue hair, rather. I'm looking at pictures of them right now. And this goes out on Twitter, and right away, at TrumpTruths.com calls it, or at Trump Truths, the Twitter handle is right-wing extremist runs down Black Lives Matter protesters, and then it gets deleted right away because it very quickly comes out that the guy who ran him down is named DeWitt Coletti.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 27-year-old black man.
Yeah.
So it's a black man who hit these two Black Lives Matter protesters. Gone, scrubbed from the internet. What the hell? No one's talking about it. Mainstream media was talking about it. It's like, oh my God, somebody ran down two Black Lives Matter protesters. And then all of a sudden,
No one wants
You
to address
cannot find any stories about it anymore, and no one's talking about it because it doesn't fit the narrative. We can't tell a story anymore about, oh my God, because now it's just tragic and ironic, and a reason to not block highways. And so, well, we don't want to do that because we want people blocking highways because we want things to report on, especially when it fits with our ideological view of the world. And the thing that Chris Cuomo, that I think that guy's a complete fraud. He's got security at the CNN building protecting him. He's got security in his own neighborhood protecting him. He's got private security up the fucking ass. He doesn't have to fucking worry about a fucking mob coming up to him. Who knows if he's a gun owner himself or not? I think everybody should be able to exercise their Second Amendment rights. If Cuomo wants to own a gun, fine. But in my opinion, he would be the kind of guy like Chris Martin Palmer of ESPN who tweets out, burn that shit down, burn it all down, and tweets out a picture of a burning building. And then an hour later tweets out, they just attacked our sister community down the street. It's a gated community, and they tried to climb the gates. They had to beat them back. They destroyed a Starbucks, and now they're in front of my building. Get these animals the fuck out of my neighborhood. Go back where you live. An hour later, after burn that shit down. That would be Fredo Cuomo, in my opinion. He can say, oh, how does it feel to be the poster child of political resistance to Black Lives Matter? Until they're in your fucking neighborhood, Chris, and then all of a sudden they wouldn't be peaceful protesters anymore. You're, in my opinion, a fraud.
Yeah, the amount of backpedaling that's done once like new information comes out, because you got to be the first one to report on something, spin that narrative just a little bit in your favor, and then once it comes out that that is actually entirely patently false, ooh, let's not touch it with 10-foot pole because that would be inconvenient, and we're just not going to do that. I do not abide that kind of nonsense. It feels like how could anyone in their right mind listen to someone who is that much of a spinner in that respect? Like, honestly, do you not feel like you're being manipulated? Like you're being grossly maneuvered into thinking and feeling a certain way based off of things that are being withheld or explained to you in a certain way? Does that not grossly just give you a visceral reaction?
Sure. I mean,
I'm not just saying you, but like
goddamn good on the subject of Ken and Karen of McCluskey, because like I watched it and it's like it got my ire up. I got angry watching it, and it's like, yeah, this is well presented because I'm pissed off now.
Yeah, people trying to find wiggle room to like make their case, and I'm like, this is cut and dry textbook private property defense right here, right now. No trespassing, violators will be shot or whatever. Like,
if that isn't like one of the things that the Second Amendment is for, then what the hell is it actually fucking for? In my opinion,
I don't know. But yeah, to come across people attempting to justify it, even with that information presented to them, is just mind-boggling. Because the mental gymnastics that one has to actually go through, I don't know if they're coming up with it by themselves, or if they just want to be right, or if their cognitive dissonance is making it impossible for them to see any other way. But it terrifies me more than anything else does. Because if you are presented with blatant, patent, factual evidence that person A and person B are completely in the clear, but you still want them to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, that you cannot fathom a world where they are not the victims in any such way, or they are in the right in any such way. That scares me a lot. Because if that's the way that our justice system is going to go, if that's the way that the public opinion is going to go, then I fear for society as a whole. Because if we're that easily manipulated, or if we're that easily stubborn about something like this, that is a slam dunk, we're all in trouble.
Yeah. Well, we're right at the 2-hour mark. Did you want to allow a few minutes for questions? And
oh, my phone's going off. Yeah, we can do 5-minute question and answer time if you want.
Cool.
I have to go to the bathroom though. I can wait. I can hold it.
All right. Don't break the seal, and you won't have a problem.
Huh?
I said, don't break the seal. It'll be fine.
I'm not drunk yet. I was only drinking root beer. That's not actual beer.
Ah,
It's close enough though. Let's be honest. The luxury car is white, so the car is racist, says Alexander. Yeah, that's why. Mm-hmm. Is it Tisanico? I'm so sorry. I'm trying. Trust me, I am. I wish we had the Second Amendment in Canada. I own firearms, but I can't use them or state to use them for self-defense or get angry by law. So you just have firearms for display purposes then? Is that what I'm gathering here? Is that what Canada's like?
Well, I mean, but that is the direction not really, but that is the direction that news media would have it go, because they say you don't need an automatic weapon to go hunting. And that statement gets repeated by news media over and over again. You can't go hunting with an automatic weapon. And it's like it's such a short statement with so few words in it, but it implies so many things, and it's such a overused response to ownership of something like an AR-15 or what have you, or anything of the kind. It's like, first of all, it's not an automatic weapon, and you're implying that it is. So you're deliberately confusing the issue. Two, when was it ever legal to go hunting with an automatic weapon? What the fuck are you even talking about? Now you're making up fantasies. You might as well say, why don't you go hunting with landmines, like anybody ever did or wanted to? Like, what the fuck does that even mean? And then third, you're making it sound like the only purpose for firearms ownership is to go hunting. Anything else is illegitimate. And those are all implied by that fucking question, and that's why it gets repeated so much.
So it's a bullshit.
So it's like, so you own them for display purposes? No, you own them for the only legitimate reasons you can. Hunting and target shooting when and where we say. And that's exactly what the governor of Virginia attempted to pull off with his bullshit. Is it weapons of war don't belong in civilian hands? Show me when an AR-15 was ever used in war.
They weren't. They were designed as hunting rifles, right? Or hunting weapons.
Well,
originally, right?
No. Like the M16 designed by Stoner was
which one am I
absolutely designed for a military contract, but it's a select fire weapon. I mean, the semi-automatic version has never been issued to anybody to be used in war or combat of any kind. It's a semi-automatic civilian version. Are you talking about a fully automatic weapon? Oh, well, okay, semi-automatic, fully automatic. You're just, playing semantics. No, you're trying to confuse the issue and demonize something.
See,
semi-automatic AR-15s in combat? No, that's never happened.
See, I am still a noob. I only have a gun.
Yeah. So it's like what they're that's why they repeat M16, AR-15, AK-47. I've heard of these things in movies and on news. I know things, and it's no, actually you don't. I don't mean you weebs. I mean they just the same lines will get repeated over and over again, like the instantaneous thing around the Pulse nightclub shooting in Florida. Look how that story got spun and how fast it got spun. You have a jihadi that kills over 50 people in an enclosed area, and it turns into, it's not an Islamic jihadi attack. It's a man who was afraid of his own homosexuality, so went and killed gays to take it out on the LGBT community, and he used it with an AR-15. It's like, no, it was a jihadi and it wasn't an AR-15.
Oh boy.
You lie, all for the sake of fucking narrative, because never let a tragedy go unused.
Of course not. Lion Patriot asks, how many mosquitoes fed on me this weekend? And I will say all of them. My legs look like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's not good. It's not good at all. And I think the worst of them is right on my ankle, and there are like 4 mosquito bites right where it is that the cartilage is, where my Achilles heels is. And that's the worst. That is the absolute worst place to get a mosquito bite. Honestly, truly.
Yeah, I had no small amount of mosquitoes around, but surprisingly, the Bernie thing that my friend had at the cookout, little whatever, worked really well. As soon as that, he had one of the electrified bug zappers. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
And that thing was bzz, 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 snap, bzz,
like little ones, and then every like 5 minutes, like apparently a dragonfly happened by or something, because it would but it didn't seem to be doing nothing, because everyone was still getting bit, and it's like, God, there's billions of these things out here, right? But as soon as he lit that little burner thing in the shape of a cone to, oh man, citronella or whatever the fuck it was, man, yeah, the mosquitoes suddenly became less in a big way. Ryan Walters asks, is polyvaping? Yes, because I would be smoking, but I'd like to get my security deposit back for the house I rent and such and like.
I apparently need to do a 411 gun stream. I probably do. I'm still a noob. I don't know when I'm going to purchase my next firearm. The goal is to get... Huh?
I would say in a lot of ways, that's all the more reason to do one. Do a stream regarding what you know now. You say you're a noob, and it's like, okay, but you're not an idiot.
Sure.
Do a stream about what you know now, and then like a year from now, you can be like, I can't believe I said these things. I can't believe that it's surprising that I thought this at that time. I mean, I don't think you're doing anything unsafe or stupid with firearms, but what you've learned about
like my shooting habits and
the
way that
what you liked doing before, but you don't like doing anymore, like the kind of shooting.
Yeah.
I'm more interested. Like you might want to get into practical shooting, whether it be IDPA or whatever. And it's like, I didn't even think about that back then. I didn't even know what it was. The flinching that you're describing of anticipating the shot, of tensing up. It's like, yeah, everybody has that problem. Yeah. The biggest recoil is when the gun doesn't go off. It's a really old joke.
God. Okay, you say that, and it's funny, but like a few times, because I was switching between my gun and my boyfriend's Beretta, and the trigger action is different on both of those. So I'd be going from really sensitive trigger action to not so sensitive trigger action, and the Beretta has the not so sensitive trigger action. So I'd be pulling it and thinking, oh God, it's gonna fire, before it actually fired. And I'm like, oh shit, wait, hang on. This isn't my gun. This isn't how the trigger action works. So I would physically notice that it was happening. And then I'd be like, okay, so I can correct with this. But yeah.
Did you play any of the games with dummy rounds or empty chambers in the cylinder?
No, I should probably do that though.
Try it, and that's like, it's a really old joke. The worst recoil is when the gun doesn't go off. Yeah. Because you damn well are 100% expecting it to go off, and it doesn't. So now you see what you're doing with your hands and arms every time you fire when it does go off, and you're like, you'll see your arms tense up and freak out. And you watch YouTube videos, and the guys that actually have balls when they record themselves, and they do that, like the gun will malfunction. It didn't pull the spent case out of the chamber, so the hammer or the striker's dropping on like an empty case, and you'll see them tense up.
Oh God.
So the way you do it with a cylinder, right, is that you only load up like 3 or 4 rounds in, like, let's say a 6-round cylinder, and then spin it, and then just start firing. You don't know if it's going to land on an empty or live chamber, and you get to see it.
Oh God.
It's
so embarrassing too.
Yeah. Because I'm a reloader. I've loaded up a bunch of dummy rounds, and you can buy snap caps, just dummy rounds, that kind of thing, right? You get a friend, like, so you get your boyfriends, like, here's a magazine, stagger them between live rounds and dummy rounds. You choose. The magazine could be all live rounds, or 1 live round and 6 dummy rounds. You know what I mean? And that you have no idea now, and load it and hand me the gun, and I'll start firing. That's a great way to test to see if you've developed a flinch or not. Holy shit. It's not good training, because I don't think it is anyway. Some people think of it as a training mechanism. I don't think it is. I think it's just, it's a litmus test. It's a reveal as to whether or not you're developing a flinch.
And I definitely have a flinch.
It's people look it up on YouTube or just on the internet in general. Shooting low and to the left. That is the holding harder with your right-handed, right? Yeah. Holding. So am I. Most people are. Left-handed people are weird.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, lefties. It's a joke. But your support hand should have more force on the gun, going by a lot of modern, like, modern pistol shooting and isosceles stance, if that's what you use. You're not into modified weaver or whatever. But anyway, you should be holding harder with your support hand than you are with your right hand, with your main hand.
Yeah.
And when you're holding it the other way, that means the gun's going to be able to move to the left on its own easier because you're not giving it support, and you're pushing it over and down because you're anticipating to the left because your grip isn't quite as balanced as it should be between your two hands. There are website after website after website and video after video after video on shooting low and to the left. And that's why. And I shoot low and to the left because of that very thing right there. Still trying to train out that goddamn flinch.
I'm glad that it's not just me.
I
really am. I feel
thousands of rounds downrange, and you go through plateaus too, where it's like, what the hell happened? It's a use it or lose it skill. It degrades.
Yeah.
And then there's like a month or two where you can't shoot worth shit. It's all over the place. Weird things happen. So
I should go to the range daily, is what you're telling me.
I'm glad you bought a 9mm if you're going to. cheap ammunition is a must for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we're at 210. We went over a little bit, but that's fine. I don't mind. Polly, we're going to have to do this again next week on a Monday instead of a Saturday.
It's okay. As I understand it, YouTube works more effectively when people don't know when you're going to stream.
Oh, is that true? I wouldn't know.
No, it's not true at all.
Okay.
But I mean, come on, look at my channel. I do Noir Bar regularly, and people justifiably complain about it, and they're not wrong.
But you're still there, and you still get views.
Damn right.
Yeah. So, same time, same place.
So Monday at 8 Central.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you don't mind.
No,
just because fine. I'll be at the cabin again next weekend. I get to see Balik for the first time in like 6 months. Well, 3 months.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we're going to hang out and I have had so much. I know he has too, but we've pent up our political grievances over the last several months with what's been going on. So it's just going to be nonstop jibber jabber between the two of us. And I want to enjoy all of that.
Sure.
Oh, that's what I call catharsis, not shooting random people in the street and looting their stores. Nah. Anyway, so we'll be back here, same time, same place, Monday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Myself and Polly, we will be talking about who the fuck knows what.
Nice. We'll find out then.
We'll find out next week. Genuinely, we will. Polly, do you have anything that you want to endorse? Shill.
Just my channel generally, by all means, go check it out. Like a lot of people, I had no idea how many bots were subbed to my channel. Apparently 50 of them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Whatever. If they were bots, they weren't watching anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, poor Omegon lost like 300 subs.
Oh, my heart.
Yeah.
Poor boy.
So it's like, those were the bots that were subbing to him. And that's assuming that they actually were bots and not just problematic channels for whatever reason that YouTube came up with. But no, in any case, let's see, I put up a couple of live reads since then, and on Independence Day I put up a live read of the Declaration of Independence, which I was happy to see got like 200 views. I was happy to see how many people wanted to listen to it, and a bunch of people said it was the first time they had ever listened to it or heard it or read it, that kind of thing. I even wrote in the comments, if you haven't heard it before, you should take the opportunity to hear my humble attempt to do justice to this document. So yeah, that was pretty awesome to see. I was happy that people watched it and liked it, because I worked really hard on the background, and I re-recorded it like 5 times to get the right read, and then the edit took a long time. And anyway, so that's up. Plus I got a whole bunch of videos I'm working on right now. The one I'm working on right now is actually a comic book video. And then I got that the one that Weebo and I recorded that, 98 minutes that I need to somehow cut down to 15 or so.
Yeah. You should probably do that.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of stuff on the go over there at my channel. Check it out. Yay.
Awesome. Okay, so I have one long video that I gotta get done this week. I don't know when it's gonna come out, but it's gonna come out, and it's basically a step-by-step guide on how to defeat racism. I had it recorded last week, but I don't like the recording, so I'm gonna redo it. But in the meantime, you can enjoy this lovely stream, and then next week, I'm thinking it's going to be either a Thought Patrol, a video review, or something new and exciting. We shall see if I can get it up and ready to go by then. We'll see. I don't know yet. But Wednesday is community Discord game night. So join the Discord if you feel so enthused. I think we're going to play Conan Exiles. So if you happen to have that game, we're going to be completely redoing the server because our server has locked us out and we lost all of our shit. So we're just going to be starting from scratch again, which is fun. It's cool. No big deal. I'm not super salty about it. Yeah. But yeah, join the Discord, guys. Links in the description, both to myself and all of Polly's shenanigans. Enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you when I see you guys next. Remember, same time, same place. Say goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And hello to everyone who just poured in. A bunch of people just showed up, Rich and Art and the Unholy Reaper. Yeah.
Rough. Sorry, guys. We love you. Bye.
Laters.